Okay. Shalom, Charlie. And shalom, Armando.
Shalom.
And shalom, the person who's pretending to be Matt. His name is really Arnie. I haven't really figured out how
Shalom.
he keeps that. And I don't know if anybody else is going to arrive, but we will introduce at least now. Armando is in Panama, and he likes to keep himself muted, it seems. Why don't you unmute yourself? Come on, Armando. And Armando was recently instated as a board member, so at least we have one board member here. The way that RootSource is set up is we have a board mostly in the United States, but we've got two actually. No, by now maybe it's not even mostly. That was the original plan. I think we have four members in the United States, two in Israel, and one in Panama. That is probably all seven. I live in Israel and I'm not on the board. I'm the principal of the company, the Israeli company that the American nonprofit uses the services of to run the nonprofit, the executive services. So I am not employed but I am not employed as an employee of the American 501c3. But instead, my company that I am the main guy in Israel, we provide the services. And Matt is one of my service providers. He is a consultant that I meet with for about a half an hour a week, and he's not Matt, he is Arnie, and I always like him to listen to things. And here's Wendy, who I haven't seen in oh knows how long.
Long time. Good to see
And
you.
we will wait for a few more people, maybe one more person to come in or two. I don't know. Oh, here comes somebody else, Lucky Dawn. Armando, I hope that you're going to be able to stick around because you're the only board member here. Everybody else is.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm still here.
So Dawn, I don't know if she's gonna. Here's Dawn. Shalom, Dawn, who lives near Austin, and also a good recent friend who's joined as an advisor, and Wendy, who is an old friend from before or during COVID. Do you remember Wendy?
During. It was a Zoom meeting because of COVID.
Exactly. Now, Wendy, are you in your safe room as we speak?
I am not. I'm sitting here with a beautiful view over towards Lebanon from Mount Carmel, so I can watch and see. And if we get a red alert, if I disappear suddenly, that'll be the reason.
Okay,
This
if you
happened
get a
a
red
couple
alert,
of times
just
during
put yourself on
meetings.
mute and do whatever you want.
Sorry,
So if you get a red alert, just put yourself on mute and do whatever you want.
I'll do that exactly.
So Wendy lives in a place called Usfia, which is near Haifa. And as of yesterday or 2 days ago, those chutzpah people in Lebanon decided that they don't have to only shoot at the communities within 5 miles of the border, but how far are you away from the border in Lebanon?
Miles, maybe about 70 miles, something like that, 80 miles.
70
Wow.
miles. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
How
they're
many how many
doing
kilometers?
70 kilometers probably, yeah. 70,
So
sorry.
70 kilometers is closer to, I think, 40 or 50 miles, but it's still. And of course, I think this morning they sent something to Tel Aviv also.
Yeah, they
Yes.
sent, they
So
tried to.
Was probably a
they're
ballistic
really just, I
missile.
mean, they don't
So,
realize that
yes.
the more they fight, the harder they're going to get hit. And of course, the big, I think I mentioned this with you today, Charlie, that this is the most incredible miracle that all of these hundreds of bombs and rockets that they've been sending our way. Okay, we have good defensive stuff, but not a single person, God forbid, has been killed. And if people are getting injured, it's like if they stumble on their way to their safe room or something like that. It's just incredible. Just incredible that they're like, Mamish, God has his hand over us.
Yes.
Tov, how can we not mention that? So let us quickly get started here so we can quickly finish. And this is it, not it. This is it. Second. I shared this document with y'all, I think, on the group, but we will read through it. So as per Article 6, and today it's Ein Ma Lasot, the root source bylaws, believe me, I didn't write this, I copied it or maybe tweaked it a bit. Any action required to be taken or which may be taken at a meeting may be taken without a meeting and without prior notice if a consent in writing or by electronic transmission setting forth the action so taken is affirmed by the board members or members of the committee with respect to the subject matter of the vote. The consent must be filed with the corporate records of the secretary. Okay, the board of directors of this corporation affirmed their consent in writing with respect to the resolutions below. What does that mean? They haven't yet, but at the end of this meeting, which we are recording, the board members who are listed here will sign if they were present or not present. And that means that they affirm their consent in writing with respect to the resolutions below. This document was prepared by the CEO, that's me, was circulated by WhatsApp among all directors, and in some cases was directed in detail via Zoom. This is that case because I'm discussing it in detail with Armando, who is a board member, and the rest of you lovely advisors. This meeting is recorded and is available there. It will be available there in a few days. And its agenda item were approved following this Zoom meeting, which was held on Wednesday, September 25th at 8 p.m. Israel time, 12 noon Texas time, and the rest of you know what time it is where you are. So directors present is not only Armando, and the rest of these people we will move. 1 second. I think that's not what I meant to do. Computer's a little slow. Let's go over to here and move it to here. So that's it. These are our 6 board members who did not show up yet. Maybe some of them will. Armando is here. That makes 7. And Dawn is here. Arnie is here. Gidon is here. Wendy. Alun. And Charlie Elkins. Do I see one? Oh, no, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, these are the people who are here. And now we're getting into real business, sort of, or at least bureaucratic business. As per Article 6, Paragraph 4, a quorum is required for business transactions and passage of motions. A quorum consists of at least 40% of board members present in person or through telephonic or video participation. Since 3 board members, more than 40% or more, are not present, this activity is considered an informal action. And as we wrote earlier, anything we can do in a meeting we can do it in an informal action. Let me just make sure that I wrote that well. Is considered an informal action. Second, if there had been such a quorum present by the meetings, then this would have been a formal meeting. But hainu hach. Okay, and so what are we going to do? We're simply going to review these documents, the expenses to date of 2024, or most, a snapshot of the balances for this quarter or for this week, and a review of the report of activities of Q3 2024, the past 4 months. The board shall review and approve the actual approximate tab of the following document. Here comes iPhone 156. I wonder who that is. Here's iPhone 156. Please show yourself, or at least unmute yourself so we can know who you are. Oh, look, it's Sloan. Hi, Sloan. You made it. Sloan is also an advisory member. Sloan, lucky. Thank you for showing up. I believe, is this your first meeting like this, Sloan? I can't hear you. Are you on purpose? No, you can't see you either. Unmute yourself if you're going to answer, or put up a thumb if you don't want to unmute yourself. All right. Okay, so we're just about to start the business over here. We're going to try to keep it a half an hour. We're already 10 minutes in. We'll see if I can do this in 20 minutes. Okay. So Arnie, pardon me, Arnie. This is driving me nuts. I'm going to rename you from Matt to Arnie. So now everybody knows that that's your name. I said R. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. 1 second. Here you are. Or me. Okay. And what did I do here? 1 second. Yes. So Arnie suggested that I gave much too much information in the last meeting, so I'm going to try to cut it much shorter now. As far as the balances. First, the balances. Let's look at it. These are the balances. I don't know. And let's move this up here or not. Let's move it over to there. This is like last year's, it's less important. So in the way that it works is I'm not a great accountant, and so this is all not audited, but it's probably correct within about 10% or something like that. The way that it works is that we raise all our money in America through our platform called GiveButter. From time to time, we pass over that money to our American bank account. From our American bank that is the American bank account of the American 501c3. Some of our expenses we pay from the American account. Some of them we pay from the Israeli company. And then from time to time, the Israeli company bills the American nonprofit for the expenses that we just pay for because it's more convenient in Israel. So that's why I count all of this money, because it all gets used to execute the activities of our nonprofit organization. The Israeli company has no other clients except for the American nonprofit. So in our Israeli bank account, we have $20,250 as of yesterday, 2 days ago. We have another $500 or so in our PayPal account in the Gumroad. As you can see, in the past, we only had about $100, $0. So it's the person who gets that information from me has been sick this week, so I didn't get that information, but it's only a little bit. In the Payoneer account, that's another small account that we get some money from, also nothing there. In the GiveButter account, we run many fundraising activities, and people give us money, sometimes a lot, usually a little. And from time to time, we also have about a dozen people who give us a monthly gift, $18, $10, $50, something like that. So if I don't pull out the money automatically or very frequently, so we get stuck with. We have some of the money still there in the GiveButter account, so that's about $2,200. Mercury is our new bank. As you can see here, Row, I don't know if I even told you guys, Row was our old bank. All of a sudden, about 2 months ago, Row said, we're really sorry. I'm sure you don't like the what this sounds like, but we have to close your account. Sorry, we can't. You're not allowed to request anything. Your account is being closed. So I had to scramble and find a new bank. Baruch Hashem, it's all behind us. So there we have about $28,000. So altogether, we have about $50,000, $51,000, as you can see down here. We have another about $70,000 anonymous pledge that Bezrat Hashem will be coming in soon. And another $20,000. You can't see it here. Let me make this a little bit smaller so you can see there. Another $20,000 of a grant that we were gifted by the Nathaniel Foundation at their meeting about, I think, a month ago. When they're going to give that money, maybe in a month, maybe in 2 months, I don't know. Now, so our standard monthly expenses are about $13,000 a month. Michael, who is our fundraising consultant, or whatever he's called, in the United States, we've been paying him about $2,000 a month, maybe $60 an hour or something like that, for about a year. I think he's doing a very good job of finding us connections. Unfortunately, he hasn't raised us any money yet, but so he agreed with me. He's also uncomfortable by that. But he used to be the fundraiser for an Israeli university or something like that. I mean, guy's not out of nowhere. But so our standard monthly expenses were 14,000. Now they're down to about 13,000, which means that even if we don't get any more big money, we'll probably stick around for at least until the end of December. Okay, that is pretty much the financial situation. I have learned in these 10 years that I've been working in Root Source that it depends a lot on God. If God wants the money to come in, it'll come in. As much as I can work about it, I can work, but it all depends on him. So that is the balances. I spent a lot, and down here there's all sorts of how many views we got. It goes up a percent, a 0.5%, goes down 1/4%. Not worth our time reviewing right now. Is there anybody, especially Armando, who you're still there, very good, that has any comments on what I've just presented?
No, I don't.
Okay, that's official, but anybody else, you're also invited to ask questions or make comments or make critiques. But of course, you're all also invited not to say anything. Okay, our next item on the agenda is a review of the balance. I did this backwards. First, I showed you the balances. So now I will show you our expenses. Second, it looks like it's easier for me to show over here. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so that I don't see you guys, but at least you can see the screen. Okay, so my salary is a salary plus taxes plus a whole bunch of other things is $10,000 a month that we got after I was approved by the board, I think in the last quarter. And so that is what we spent most of the money on. Michael Stoltz, as I said, he's lowered his expense. It lowers his fee going forward. But even still, over the last 3 months, he worked a little bit less. So de facto, even though our expected expense for that is $6,000, we only spent $4,000. Joshua Frampton was a social media guy. He wasn't delivering fast enough, and I just said, I got to let you go, and he did. So unfortunately, as we will see in a moment, the most important thing I think we're still not managing to do, but we'll talk about that later. We have a few virtual assistants who charge about, between the 4 of them, about $2,000 a month, approximately, and now they're a little bit, this is because the payment was a little bit more. So this ended up came in a little bit more, it seems. I don't know. She put that in there. I don't know. But whatever. That's about $600 more or less, something like that. I have a bookkeeper that she's got a regular fee. The first quarter I flew to abroad, so we had those expenses. Obviously, we didn't have them now. And so altogether, these were our pretty much regular expenses for this quarter was 42,000 divided by 3 is 14. In addition, though, we had another $14,000 of expenses. There were 2 there were 2 payouts. I'm sorry, 2 payouts of grants that were generated, that we granted, generated by campaigns that we ran, earmarked for those campaigns. Those were the War Needs campaign that we ran since pretty much the beginning of the war, maybe the beginning of this year. So this quarter, we had $7,000 worth of needs that we paid out. And that was, of course, like I said before, 1-to-1 to a portion of the donations that we got to that campaign. In addition, we were working with another organization, or really an individual who's sort of part of an organization. Anyway, he we worked on this campaign of murals. Let me spend a moment finding it for you. I really want to show this. Come on, there you go. Give me a second. This while I'm at it, I'll show you the dashboard of GiveButter that I mentioned, which is our fundraising platform. My computer is a little bit slow tonight. That's the way life is. Oh, thanks. Second, I have a new search bar so we can search here. Come on, it's mural. There we are. And in a second, we can click this here and go to the site of the Iran Israel Heroes Awareness Murals. Root Source is proud to be partnering with Human Khalili, an expat Iranian currently in California but frequent visitor to Israel, in his efforts to raise awareness of the plight of Iranian women, especially, but also men and children as well, suffering under the harsh regime in Iran. Your donation will go towards our goal of getting 18 murals all over Israel, especially the 4 holy cities of Jerusalem, Hebron, Tzfat, and Tiberias. One person gave $7,450, which the $450 covered the fees, and the other 7 we paid for the mural in, I don't remember, it was in Jerusalem. I don't remember exactly. So those were the special expenses this month, but like I said, they were in and out. And we have other small regular expenses, less than $1,000 or $2,000 a year, something like that. Phone, taxes, accounting software, transmission, that kind of thing. And that is our expenses. Now, of course, the biggest expense here is my salary and the VA's fees. And that is what gets all of the work done. Virtually all of the work done. And that is our next 2 files that I'm going to show you, where I'm going to, before we get to that, I'm going to see if there's anybody who has anything else to comment on those expenses of this quarter. Okay, sounds like you all think it's in order. Again, thank you very much for that. Okay, so our next 2 items are the report of activities. So I'm not sure which order to do this in. I started doing this with Charlie on our previous personal meeting. So first I will show what I usually do, which is our quarterly report to first Melissa Church, who gives us a quarterly, or actually a month, probably a quarterly gift of like $300, about $100 a month. So I take this as an opportunity to summarize everything, the main things that we've done. And so we'll do that. We had our 10th anniversary celebration and Bless Israel launch, which we're actually going to have in 2 days. It's going to be on Sunday night. We've already, between you and me, we've already recorded it. So it's going to be premiered at about 3 or 4 a.m. Israel time, about 8 p.m. America time, more or less. And that was the 10th anniversary celebration. Primarily Bob Odell, my partner where we founded Root Source, and I talked about Root Source over the first 5 years when he was more active. And then after that, I talked about the other 5 years pretty much. And then we also are launching the Bless Israel project, which I will talk about maybe a little bit more later on when I look at the next page. The Institute of Midrashic Studies of the New Testament. I do believe, Charlie, you and I talked about this a little bit earlier today. We talked about that New Testament stuff with the connection between the Old Testament. So, but Dr. Dave Pitcher, the academic director of this institute, is pursuing his doctorate in biblical studies at Liberty University. Due to this and a paucity in funding, we are putting this project on a back burner for the near future. It's hopefully we'll get more money and he'll have a little bit more time. I would also like to point out, as I believe I mentioned in the group, that he has eye problems. I don't remember what the name of the problem is, but hopefully, and right now he's having a flare-up, so let's pray for his health, for Dr. Pitcher's health. We've done conversations and media appearances. I do conversations 1 or 2 a week, which are featured on our blog and web page. There they are on that link. We've met with these people: Phil Steele, Jason Kaplan, Richard Booker, Alan Latta, Posh Ali Lass, Russ Smith, Al McCarn, Ruth Guggenheim, and God's Learning Channel. The Iran-Israel Mutual Friendship murals, I mentioned that, and I participated in some of those unveilings. Jewish teacher research and recruitment. I spoke and met people at Bible and Jewish philosophy conferences. And I did more networking, meeting with people every week on Zoom and in person. And we do the newsletter. So this month, this quarter, we spent a lot of time changing banks, which is why this list is a little bit shorter, but that's the bigger thing that we've done. And what I didn't write down over here is I upgraded the website just a little bit by making a list of everything that we do, 20 things. I'm going to try to say this, how about 6 seconds each, so that I'll get it done in 2 minutes. Does that sound right? I think so. So Jews teaching Christians is what we do mostly. That's why we have over 1,200 recorded lessons. Christian outreach is what I'd like to do, and that's why I hired that guy for social media. Unfortunately, I had to leave him go. He wasn't delivering. One day, I pray I will find somebody who will be able to help me bring in not the 15,000 or so subscribers to our free newsletter, but 150,000 or so, or 500,000 or so. Lord knows that there are many Christians out there. Jewish outreach. Our vision is to expand our cadre, is that how it's pronounced, of Jewish teachers from 20 to 2 over the next few years. And then we will be in a position where Jews will not say, what, you engage with Christians? Is that even allowed? And instead they will say, what, you teach Torah and you're not on Root Source? Get with the program, man. And that is my dream and vision. Light Up the Church is the Root Source sponsored educational program about Kristallnacht and the Holocaust. It is now September, almost October. Next month after that is November 9th is Kristallnacht. And so we're hoping to launch our marketing campaign for this program. And hopefully we'll have over 100 churches, businesses, home groups, and individuals keeping, and parachurch ministries, keeping the light on November 9th, Saturday night. And hopefully you all will hear more about that over the next few weeks. The NT Midrash Institute, I mentioned about that. Our website, all over the place. We're updating it all the time. Translations, encouraged by our recent trip to Panama, we hope to secure funds necessary to translate our website and most popular books in Spanish. I will take this opportunity just to remind a one-way communication with Armando to message me about what is going on with, I've already forgotten his name, Mr. Falik. What's his first name?
Yeah, my
Okay,
boss
you'll tell
right
me
here.
about that later. Hopefully we'll get some money out of him. Book publishing, over 20 books published by Root Source Prints and Counting. The annual Nathaniel Foundation Symposium. Our next one is coming up in like 2 weeks. And we're running like chickens without the head because it's only in 2 weeks and we're not barely set with it. But hopefully it'll happen, I think, on Sunday, September 16th. And that will be live, or at least most of it. Bridge Builders, we've done in the past, the inaugural event. Here is the book that we published. Because of that, 70 Jews and Christians who are engaged in this space of being friends with each other. I'm very happy to be one of the leaders in that space in Israel and all over the world. The List Yearbook, Anti-Semitism, Monitoring, Education, and Activism. Over 1,000 anti-Semitic incidents worldwide chronicled annually in a professionally formatted volume. I just got, actually, the 2023 volume. I don't see it here, but this is the 2022 volume. It's about 800 pages long. unfortunately, there's still plenty of anti-Semitism going around, and we hope to publish that again in 2023. We've got some technical problems that we hope to overcome ASAP. Root Source Conversations, I mentioned before, that we publish them for people who I talk to who are willing to be recorded. Then we record them and we feature them in our weekly newsletter. Here's our weekly newsletter. Weekly newsletter sent to a list of tens of thousands of subscribers is 10 and a half, like tens. Our newsletter list is about 15,000. We raise money for the war, as I mentioned before. We do online events, including ceremonies, book launches, current event overviews, and more. This is what I hope to do, and we even got a few $1,000s to donate copies of the list and subsequent yearbooks to church, school, synagogue, and public libraries. When I'll get around to that, I'll work on it. The Bless Israel Project, here I probably have the link over here. I'll open it up in a minute. We are partnering with recognized Israeli nonprofit organizations to help Christians who are interested in donating to these humanitarian efforts. Looks like it's already loaded. These are just the initial nonprofits that we're partnering with. Emunah Israel is a social service agency. Susan's House, a lot of youth rehabilitation center. Crossroads helps vulnerable teens in Jerusalem. Yashar L'Chayal supports soldiers. Oseh Chayil supports ultra-Orthodox soldiers who, for the most part, are severed from their families because certain ultra-Orthodox people do not like their children going into the army. Chochmat Nafshim is trying to create change in the global Jewish society by challenging dangerous trends in the Jewish communities. Maybe that's not really my team here, but that's an organization that I like to support. And Biadenu supports the awareness dedicated to raising awareness to the Temple Mount and its heritage. And also Christian Friends of Israel Communities, which is our friend Sandra Barras. It is what it sounds like, specifically Judea and Samaria. And Shalom Jerusalem Foundation is our friend and teacher Yehuda Glick, who also does whatever he wants. And if somebody wants to support him, they can do it. They can learn about it and do it through here. The murals I mentioned, Root Source Podcast. One of these days, I don't even have a link here because we haven't done it yet. I'm more of a visual guy than a hearing guy, but I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing it for people who like to listen. And evidently, a lot of people like podcasts. And also, one day, if people are interested, I will do one-on-one teaching. That's the way I started long ago. I said, this is much too hard. I'm going to do it one-on-many. It became Root Source, but now my teacher, Seth Young, who teaches Hebrew, also on his own site, he said it's time to do one-on-ones also. So that we might do if there'll be interest. But that's pretty much, I went over everything that I'm thinking of doing, and dreaming of doing. And that is the list. Okay. Any comments, lady and gentlemen?
No comments.
None on this end.
Keep up the good work.
Toda rabah. Whereas there was no further business, further resolved, all items and documents have been examined by all directors who are signed below. The meeting will be adjourned as soon as we move this present, affirmed September 25th, 2024. That is today. We're gonna X that and move it over to Armando. Okay?
Okay.
Toda rabah, everybody. Thank you, especially Arnie, for encouraging me to cut part of that. So now it was not 90 minutes or 80 minutes or 70 minutes. It was only 25 minutes or less. 36 minutes from the time the first people came in. Toda rabah, everybody. Let me go to sleep. Laila Tov.
Laila Tov.
Okay, and I was just about to say goodbye to Wendy. She jumped out. Looking forward to seeing her again and hearing more from her. And everybody else here, I'm looking forward to spending more time with all of you. Please use the link that you all know to make a one-on-one with me. We're having the holidays just now, so it's going to be a little bit tighter, plus all these other things that I was, pardon the expression, stupid enough to plan. But we're going to hopefully get it all done, and I'll slow down a little bit just in time for American elections. Okay, toda
Laila
raba,
tov.
everybody.
Laila
Laila
tov.
tov. All right, have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Dawn. Bye-bye.